let's just start right from here. Tell me about yourself. Tell me, I don't know anything about you aside from your name and your running group. So
Great.
start kind of from the beginning. Like, you're a physio. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I'm a physio. I'm from Canada. I'm registered up in Canada and BC. I've worked all over public healthcare up there, so all over hospitals, all over rehab. I had a mobile physio practice. I've done a lot of things, and I had babies, and I couldn't go back to work. It was the strangest thing. Like I couldn't be away. And I started this Running Moms local community group, and we just kept meeting, and I kept going to all these boot camps after babies and destroyed my own pelvic floor and all this stuff. And then, so from there, I built, and it's a very long story where it all came from, but I thought if I didn't know how to get back up and running after babies as a physio, and I had to teach myself and rehab myself and put myself through my own programs and practice what I preached, no one else knew what was going on either. So I needed to help people, and running is my passion. A lot of transitions through that with career and babies and life, and got a life coach and did the whole thing. And he's just like your running people light you up. You need to do that as a business. And I'm like, I can't do that as a business. And then I did. And from there I took business courses, and I haven't approached this from the telehealth as a physio perspective, because I started this so many years ago. No one was really talking about telehealth, but the people that were talking about it were talking about online business strategies, I found a business coach in Canada who was helping wellness professionals take their skills and create signature programs online. And that's where I learned. So I don't even, like, the term telehealth is a little bit, I think that's almost a medical term. Like, we get that in the medical system, but the people that I'm reaching, who I'm helping get through this rehab period after babies, they're not coming to me for rehab, for telehealth. They're coming to me for training, for strengthening, for conditioning, to get their health and fitness back.
You've hit on so many topics just there. My head's going to explode, but let's go back for a second. Okay. So for people who don't even know your name, Tell me your name. Tell me where you are. Give me a little bit about that background information too.
Okay. So my name is Carey Adam. Like I said, I'm a physiotherapist from Canada, from BC, but okay. I've moved down to Costa Rica, and right now I'm looking at my pool outside, and I do this all from Costa Rica. I have 2 kids. They're 6 and 8, and yeah.
Perfect. So you're living in Costa Rica right now?
Yeah, we live here from September to June. We go back to Canada for the summer, and my business doesn't miss a beat through that.
Wow. Yeah, so your story sounds so similar to mine in a lot of respects, in that so I had been I was a personal trainer and strength coach originally. I started a personal training studio back in 2001. Before that, I worked for a year at a local hospital outpatient clinic that was in a YMCA. And I said, I had never even heard of a physical therapist before that. Got introduced to him, loved it, totally fell in love with it. But I couldn't work for a hospital organization. I wanted to make things better. I wanted to change things. It couldn't happen with so many layers of structure above me. So after a year, I quit. I took the money I saved. I opened a personal training studio, started seeing clients. And like you probably see, clients wanted to see me at 5 a.m. or at 7 p.m., but nothing in between. And so I had recruited a young girl who was a physical therapist that I worked with, who was just amazing. She came on board, and we transitioned that first year from all personal training to all physical therapy. And then we just took off from there. But you had said, your body, the way your body was changing, and if you couldn't fix yourself, how could you fix your clients? And I think that's so important. So for myself, I went the typical outpatient orthopedic route, lots of sports performance. I was a strength coach and did all that. But at some point, about 10 years in, I got into it and I was like, my body's breaking down. We started having babies. We have 4 little boys at home, a 9-year-old, 2 7-year-olds, and a 5-year-old. And I was like, I can't rehab my own shoulder. I can't rehab my own toe. What's going on? And I started to look outside of the classic mechanical model. And I said, well, let's get back into nutrition. Let's get back into sleep. Let's get into immune system and all that stuff. And I've completely changed the way I treat patients over the last, it was probably 6 years ago now that I've kind of made this change to where now an evaluation today, like I saw 2 new patients this morning, it's just day and night compared to where I would have been 10 years ago. And so now with you moving into this group of helping moms and creating a running group, tell me, what are some of the challenges that you faced along the way? Because you had a traditional kind of conventional medical mindset, I would imagine. And now all of a sudden you're changing the way you speak, you're changing the way you market, the message. Tell me about that.
So I'm going to go back a little bit to implement that, because I didn't shift into this because I couldn't fix myself. I couldn't emotionally take care of people in hospitals the way I needed to. And I didn't feel like I could help them the way I wanted to.
Okay.
Because I have always thought holistically. I started physio because I was obsessed with health, not because I was so much obsessed with manual therapy. And I've never practiced manual therapy. I never could get into it because I knew that people were stressed. I knew that they weren't doing their home exercise programs. I knew that they were eating crap. I knew that they weren't sleeping. And I felt always wrong saying, come into the clinic, let me do this stuff for you, because I've always believed that I needed to empower my people,
right,
to take care of themselves at home. So that's always been my thought process. Actually, why I struggled as a physio for so long, and I actually always felt like an outsider in the physio world. So finding people like you guys online is like mind blowing for me, because I've been a bit of a lone shark for a long time.
Yeah.
I felt I've been all by myself because I practice holistically. I worked in a joint replacement clinic, and they'd be reefing on these knees and like, why is this not going? And the clinic director comes, he's not watching us. He's like, you need to push harder. You need to get on there. I'm like, no, like she's so stressed. She's got 2 babies at home, and she's got a grandfather who's dying, all living with her. Of course her knee's not bending.
Right.
It doesn't mean I need to refund. It means I need to listen to her. So that has always been how I've practiced, and that's why I created the running thing. And so for the challenges of that transition for me, one of them has been on a professional level, because I haven't been able to communicate and work with other physios to create this model. So I've done it all from scratch, just doing what feels right for me and how I want to practice. I've worked a lot with personal trainers and holistic nutritionists and holistic people, functional medicine people, because they're doing it the way I want to do it. And we fully as physios have these skills and capabilities, and it's negligent for me to treat someone, even as a runner trying to get healthy, to not address sleep, to not address stress, to not address nutrition. The struggle there, though, is that, what are the boundaries with nutrition? Well, I'm telling people, like, eat real food and drink water, and are you eating enough? Are you eating too much? Like, basics. And I always tell people, I don't teach rocket science. Most people are not doing the basics. My runners are either overeating crap or under eating altogether.
Yeah.
And I think as a physio, one of our very, very good skills is that we can see the red flags and we can refer out. So that's one of my jobs. Go see a pelvic health physio, go see a nutritionist, go see a chiropractor, go see a naturopath. So I can help my runners see the right people when I see that they have that need. I don't have to do all of that. Marketing wise, it's been very difficult because people also don't want to talk about the injuries or the pain. When you're talking to people online, as physios, we're so clinical and we're so focused on the research and the data. And that's really awesome amongst ourselves. But when you're trying to get out into the public, and what do they want? Like, they want to lose weight.
Right.
I think it doesn't matter like what business you're in, that's what people want. They want to lose weight. And that's the words that's how they talk. So it's taken me so long to like mindset shift that. My program that I built has never, ever, ever, ever changed. Same workout, same program, same teaching, same everything. But the marketing messages have to change, because when they follow the stuff that I teach and they work with me, they're going to lose weight. They're going to get fit. They're going to get healthy. They're going to get happy. But people don't want healthy habits. They'll never pull out their credit card for that. And then who will they pay? They'll pay the detox guy and the supplement guy. And so, you know, like I said, it's been a real shift. And it's also, you know, you're marketing, you're putting yourself out there and you're like, oh God, who's going to see this? And what are they thinking of me? But you know what? Like, my marketing is targeting my niche and what they want. And I know that I can help them from a very solid place of education and research and data. And no, I always say no BS, no gimmicks, you know, but it's intense.
It is. It's such a hard mind shift, I think, for us, because
Yes.
we do want to be accepted by our peers. I mean, there's no doubt about it. For myself, I've been in this world now 2 or 3 years, and I am so, like, the anxiety level rises when I share a live patient interaction. I don't know if you've had a chance to see any of them, but I started resharing some old videos of me seeing real patients and what I really say to real patients and how I interact with real patients. And I'm like, I know other clinicians are going to look at it and they're going to judge it and they're going to criticize it. But in my heart, I know this is what this person needs. This is what they need to hear. It doesn't help them for me to, you know, share the clinical terminology that they're not familiar with. And I attend quite a few patient follow-up visits with orthopedic surgeons and primary care docs, because I know, one, I don't do any other marketing except that. But I know that my patients will go, the doctor will say something, and the patient has no idea what they said. It might as well be a totally different language. And so we see it in our profession. You know, our marketing, we market more to other clinicians than we do to the public.
Yes.
So that was what's so great about seeing your pages and your, you know, what you have for a group. It's like you're meeting and talking to real people, the people who really need you, and you're speaking their language.
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't do marketing to doctors, and I don't do marketing to other physios. I've tried with my college where I used to live with like fellow physios, and they just thought I was a nut job. Like, you can't do that. You can't do that. And I'm like, well, I am doing it. Like, I have a global network of women, and I like speaking that language. That's why I love being a physio. I love being hands-on. I love being on the ground. I guess not
Sure.
hands-on, but like on the ground and actually helping people in the day-to-day. Whereas again, in the clinic and in the hospital, you see them once in a while, nothing. But like in my online practice now, I don't call it a practice, but it is kind of my practice, but I see people every day. I literally hold their hand every single day. It's full on, right? Like, and that's how people get results, because I'm there all the time, pushing them. And just before I got on, I posted a quick caption about something, and I'm like, quick, you guys, go to the mirror, repeat this quote to yourself 3 times, right? Tons of mindset work, because even the best training program will not work if people are not doing it. And for most people, they struggle with the mindset. It's right. All I do.
So take me through the process, kind of the client experience. How does a woman even first hear of you, find you? And then what would that person typically do to get in touch with you, and then kind of go through that process?
Okay, so there's a lot of ways. There's a lot of channels with online. Like I'm completely 100% online. I started my Facebook page, so that Facebook is kind of my main marketing platform. My people are on Facebook. They just are where they are. I'm trying Instagram, but I don't get as much traction there yet. But Facebook, it's very active for me. So I post, 2 or 3 times a day, some personal posts. I have a blog. I post my blog on there. And then of course so people are looking and they'll want to read the blog. So they'll go on the blog, and that takes them to my website, which has my program on it, my contact on it, other blogs on it. Sometimes recently I've self-identified more as a blogger than a SEO because I have to blog to get clients in, right? Like it's a different mind shift to shift the things that I need to do and the things that I need to learn to find my people. So they can find me by Facebook, they can find me on my blog, they can find my website, but it's not SEO optimized. It's hard stuff. I haven't got there yet. So I'm hustling really. So then, I mean, generally what happens is they sign up for a lead magnet, right? Which is something for free. I give them something for free. They give me their email, then they get on my email list. And that's where I build that know, like, and trust factor. So I email anywhere from like 1 to 4 times a week. I email my list. So they get really personal, not really personal, but they get like a lot from me.
Sure.
Then every once in a while, I'll run a free 5-day challenge, which is how I get a lot of people in. And then it's very interactive. They get a quick win. I have an amazing 5-day workout challenge for runners, and I get a lot of people in that way. They do best when I run them live, like we all start together on Monday and do it together. It's just very active. It helps. Again, people want that. They don't just want more information coming in their inbox. They need someone.
Yeah.
So, and then from there, you go on to the launch sequence of inviting them into your program. And I have 2 main programs, and that's all I sell online. I don't do one-on-one. So they can find me through one of those ways, coming into those. I also have all kinds of other lead magnets where I exchange valuable information for their email. Like you showed the other day, you can just find my Facebook page and click on the group and they can join the community. And you saw in the community, I asked them if they want the superfoods guide. So again, I get their email, they get the superfoods guide, which is connected to an automated email sequence, which then puts them on my weekly email subscription sequence. And then they get those from me. So they get invited to, I have a membership site, so I'm always talking about the membership site. So there's lots of strategies within those emails as well. Like at the bottom, it's always like a members update and what's coming for the members. And, do you want to become a member? Message me. So that way.
Let me ask you about the membership, because that's been a popular topic lately. How do you differentiate? What kind of stuff do you do differently within your membership community relative to your Facebook group or just on your page or blog?
So in the membership, they get access to, I have a locked membership site where I house my 28-day getting started or my faster, stronger challenge. I house all my 5K programs, all my 10K programs, all my 21K programs, all my workouts, I have meal plans in there for people, like recipe guides. They get access to that, and only members do. In the Facebook group, they just get more of me,
right.
And it's more personal.
Yeah.
And I lead weekly challenges. They get a special promo email every week, and they get special challenges every week that the other group doesn't get. I don't run that. The other Facebook group and this has been a challenge because I used to give everything in my free Facebook group, but I switched it to the membership site. So they have to be feeling like they're getting value in there to stay, right? So,
right.
So I do all the challenges in there, and I talk about those challenges in the free group.
Sure.
Like, members, you're getting this. And I do master classes. I have an expert interview series I've brought in hormone experts, nutrition experts, sports nutrition experts, gut health experts. I've brought in all of these experts to talk about all these topics. So I'll talk about them in the free group and say, if you want to join the master class, you have to be a member. So
right.
Use the link to become a member. And so people come in that way. But that's the difference between the two. And then there's also something different with the committed community of people who are paying.
Yeah.
The conversations are different. The questions are different. The engagement is different. Everyone's on the same page because they're all following my training philosophies. So they're all speaking the same language. There's no bad advice. You go to any running community out there, and advice is terrible. That doesn't happen. All my people know not to push through pain, not to push when you're exhausted, not to do all these things. So they help each other out as well with good quality information. So that's a massive difference as well.
So, I mean, that is just such a mind-blowing, massive undertaking to build all of this infrastructure and create everything. I know I can feel it. There's going to be so many people sitting at home watching this interview, and they're thinking, how do I even get started? Did she hire all these tech experts, and who did all these things for her? Because the people at home, just like me, it's well, I'm getting ready. I've got this great idea. I'm going to start working on it. Oh, wait, I got to go see this patient. And then you go and you do that patient, and you come back and you get your momentum. Oh, I got to go see another patient. So what was that process like? I know you said you had a coach, like a business coach and a life coach, but how did you actually get to the point where did you just say, okay, this is it, I'm going all in, I'm going to dedicate all of my time to building this out and still protect my time with my family? Because that's a huge part for me. I created this business. At one point we had 5 clinic locations, but everything for me was to get me to the point where when we had children, I could be home with my children as much as I want. And we achieved that. My wife is home full time. I'm home most of the time. We're always taking our boys fishing and camping and hiking and swimming. But, so how did you get to that point where you can build all of this structure?
Oh, that's a big question. I've been doing this for 4-ish years now. I've built it's been massive. I've worked so hard. And like, you own businesses, you know how that is. Like, you have to be relentless.
Yes.
I started it when I had a job, but we are lucky enough, we have some house rentals and some other supplemental income. And to be completely honest, my family lives really simple. When we had kids, we sold the big house.
Yeah.
We got rid of the cars. We didn't sell the house. We rented the big house.
Even better than selling it.
Yeah, we rented the big house. We lived in a small apartment. We sold the big cars. We had a small car. Like, we've always lived simple so that we can do the work that we love. So that's been massive. So that allowed me to go part-time to work. And my spouse has been supportive of my craziness in building this. So from part-time, my son was 3 or 4, and he was in daycare. So he's always gone to daycare while I built this, but I work part-time. And then we just were like, well, I can't build this because I can't focus. I need to focus. And so I quit, and then I've been able to focus on it. Even so, I mean, it's relentless. I work a lot. I'm not as organized because for so many years I've been just start and stop, like you said, start and stop, and it's hard to build that momentum. So I haven't built in the automations and the systems that I need to. If I could start all over again, like, my husband will look at what I've built. He's like, oh my God, like, I can't even touch this. There's so much happening. Like, my word for this year is simplicity, right? Like,
yeah.
Simplify, because it could be done really, 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 really easy.
Right.
If my brain wasn't going like this. So
Uh-huh.
that's my advice for people, is keep it simple. Like, one funnel, just build one funnel and just push one funnel, speak to one niche. Like, you can't solve everything and fix everything. You have to speak to one person. So that's what I'm really going back on. I do, but I love the freedom and flexibility it's afforded me. Like, my family can travel anywhere we want, whenever we want. We just went to Canada for the summer. We drove from the center of Canada to the West Coast while money was, we're business people here. This is a business podcast.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
People are buying my programs and money is coming through my phone while I'm driving through the Canadian Rockies. Like,
right.
And that's kind of what keeps you going, right? Like, I don't have to be in an office. I remember I went camping with my parents and my kids, and I pulled out my computer. They had Wi-Fi. I'm like, yes, they have Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So I was like, you can't work here. I'm like, Dad, I should be at the hospital right now, and I'm completely out in the middle of the forest working. Yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of work. So there's trade-offs that way, but I'm also, like, every morning biking with my kids. I wake up with my kids every day. I take them to school every day. I make their lunch every day. I pick them up from school every day, whatever time that happens to be. If they're sick, I'm here. If they have a day off, I'm here. Like, I tuck them in every day. And there was a period of time that I didn't do that. I used to leave the house at 5 a.m. with my babies because when they saw me in the morning, they would scream and cry when I would leave the house. And every day it was like this tragic mess. So I'd leave before they woke up, and I'd show up at home at 5 or 6, and I get like an hour with them. And I was like, I'm not doing this. So I would take this kind of working lifestyle that, like, sort of never stops.
Right.
But gives me so much freedom, and also the potential. If I could get a little bit more organized, I always say, if I just could get a week off, if I could just get a full week off all by myself somewhere, like, I could, because you can automate this. Like, saying all this, there's done for you programs you can buy. You don't have to recreate the wheel and make all this. There's done for you blogs, there's done for you recipe guides, there's done for you complete training systems. You know, I've sold my exercise programs to other trainers to use. Like, you don't have to recreate the wheel.
Right.
And then you can automate things. They have schedulers that post your content to website, to your social profiles automatically. But you do have to like plan it out and structure it in and understand how to do that. So yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Let me ask you this. So right now, I know a popular question is, what kind of books are you reading? I'm going to say, who are you looking at, kind of following? So like over the last year, we've gotten into ClickFunnels quite a bit. So I look at all of, all of their content and see how they're running funnels. And right now, privately, I'm working on, which I used to hate. I used to hate the free plus shipping offer. And now I'm building out an entire system based on the free plus shipping offer, just done a little bit differently. But like, obviously there's a lot of people watching Gary Vee and all these different big social media personalities. Who do you look at for inspiration? Who do you look at to just kind of see, oh, I like what they're doing, I'm going to take a little bit of that. And I like what that person's doing, I'm going to take a little bit of that.
Lori Kennedy was who I hired. I took her program, the Wellness Business Academy, and she's the one who like completely blew my mind with creating a program and then creating funnels to sell a program.
Okay.
She's from Canada. She's amazing. She teaches wellness professionals how to create programs and sell them online. So Lori Kennedy, I love podcasts. She has a podcast called The Business of Becoming. I'm just going to open my phone and look at a few of these because there's a few. And I've really had to pull myself back and just find a few that I really, really, really like. Otherwise, you can go down the rabbit hole, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So Amy Porterfield, I will just binge listen over and over and over again to Amy Porterfield. I run and listen to her, and then I'm like, damn it, I have to go home because I've got to write the stuff down and actually take action on it. Stu McLaren is marketing your business. He does membership sites. Actually, had him here in Costa Rica, and I was like, Stu McLaren. He didn't know who I was, right? Like, you know, you're doing your job when people are like, they know you when they see you in person. So Stu McLaren. The membership guys, if you're thinking of a membership site style, the membership guys are phenomenal.
Yeah, I know them.
Yeah, Ryan Lee is a membership guy as well. I follow him. Screw the 9 to 5. Like, that just says it all right there. It's for a lot of people. Screw the 9 to 5. I listen to a ton. Mindset wise, who really shifted things for me was Brendan Bouchard, High Performance Coaching Habits. Fabulous. Those are the big ones. Lori Kennedy, and of course Rachel Feldman. If you're looking for done for you amazing programs, Rachel Feldman has like lots of great programs.
Wow.
Oh, and the Wellness Business. There's one more I actually have to say as well, because the Wellness Business podcast. I did an interview with them. I'm on one of their podcasts about membership sites when I was getting started a couple years ago. They're also phenomenal, the Wellness Business podcast. They're really tailored to beginners, which I like about them. So
that's outstanding. That's so helpful because everybody is always looking. And, you know, we kind of, I always say like Facebook is this weird little microcosm. We all know each other at this point, and we're all just going back and forth, and we're all in the same groups. And you're a breath of fresh air, certainly coming in and kind of bringing all this knowledge and all this experience and this history. Because I do think so many of us kind of have this mindset that, well, it's a nice idea, but I'm too old, or I'm out of touch and I can't really make that happen. And, you know, how do I set aside enough time to really commit and do it? But when we see somebody like you who's done it effectively, successfully, I think that brings new life into the community where people could say, well, heck yeah, you know, that sounds totally reasonable. Like, now I hear what she did, because I think we hear these numbers from like these young, you know, digital marketing people, and they're talking about 20, 40, 50,000 a month and all these crazy numbers. No, like, I want to hear from a real person who's talking real numbers, real logic. Because like you, I mean, I always say, I don't want a bigger house. I don't want a nicer car. I want time. Time is my most valuable asset. And if I could spend that time with my family while they're young, while they're accessible to me, that's what I want to do. And so the more passive revenue I can generate, the more I can work on building assets that will continue to pay me into the next coming years. Like, that's where I'm going to focus and use my clinical brain to create an effective business model. Because I'll just share this little point. I had this conversation with my 9-year-old not too long ago. You know, I said, what do you think Daddy does? And he says, well, Daddy helps people. And I said, I want you to understand something. So if I treat a patient, maybe I can treat 10 patients in a day, one-on-one, connect with them. I can only do 40 sessions a week. But if I learn how to run an effective business and I can hire 10 clinicians better than me, now we can do 400 people a week. You know, and if I really wanted to help people, the way I could help the most people is by getting outside of the ego of, well, you have to come see me because I'm a great therapist, and just admit there's better clinicians out there. My gift is building business, and the better the business runs, the more clinicians I can hire, the better lifestyle they can live, and the better they can treat their clients, you know? And so that's kind of the mindset that I'm trying to bring into my family and the community here. And I think that's what you're doing with the programs you have, the groups you've built, the community you've established. I think it's just such a gift. And I'm so grateful that you found us and you're taking interest, because I don't know how I haven't heard your name before.
That's just it. Like, the internet is massive, right? And like I said, I've kind of shied away from the physio community because my local community completely told me I'd share what I was doing in our Facebook group, and they're like, you can't talk about that. Like,
yeah,
throw me out of the group. They're going to kick me out. And I'm like, well, that's not good, you know?
yeah.
But so I've kind of really kept low, and I've really run in the circles of the holistic people, because they're also super helpful and supportive, which I did not find in the physio community,
Sure.
in the healthcare medical community in general. But I think that that's starting to shift now. It has to. I think I said this in a mess. I don't know if it was to you or to someone else I was speaking to, but our medical system has some massive, massive problems, and obesity is an epidemic, and diabetes, and like everything, arthritis from this, and just health. We're in a crisis state. We cannot keep doing what we're doing. We have access to tools like this, so why are we not doing it? People often, in my experience, don't need one-on-one. They need community, they need support, and they need someone to help them help them every single day to do the things they need to do to get better. Yeah. And that's so I just run in and I really have my head down, and I just I'm really focused on my community and building my community, reaching more people, because my capacity is massive, right? And the impact that I can have, and if I can grow big, and I don't throw out big numbers. I don't make tons of money. I don't make $10,000, $20,000 a month. I can, and I will, but I'm not yet. It takes time, lots and lots of time, and it's funny. I compare the journey of my runners trying to get strong and trying to lose weight and trying to get fit, and the struggle that people have to the struggle of building a business, right? Sure. I want it today. I want it to happen. I want it to be perfect. We think it's going to go like this, and it doesn't. It's we're at the market the other day, I'm crying, and my husband's like, oh God, you had a bad day, I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing this, right? But then the next day you go on Facebook and someone's totally thanking you for helping them make them stronger, and I know that what I'm doing with my runners, I talk about building fitness and pushing paces and burning fat, but they're getting healthy, really, really healthy. They're eating better. They're sleeping. They're doing self-care. They're taking care of themselves. They're doing the strength work. They're not getting injured. They're losing weight, so they're not running on 200 pounds, because that's the problem, right? Sure. These people are becoming healthy, and I have plans to take this idea that I've learned so much that you can't unlearn that stuff. It keeps me up at night. It's crazy. But I plan on taking this more into the medical world soon. I just have a book that's just finished editing right now. So I've written a book on prepping for joint replacement surgery. Okay. That was when I was a physio working in community and hospitals, I worked all over joint replacements. That was sort of my place. And they need the same thing, right? Like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
100%.
So I've written a book on prepping for joint replacement surgery that goes like way beyond, well, the surgeon will say, I used to work in the clinic, and the surgeon will say, lose weight, lose 50 pounds, then come back to me. They'd phone me because I worked in I worked in admin for a little while. So they'd phone and they're like, well, get me another surgeon. I said, well, did you try to lose 50 pounds? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, how would you do that? And they're like, I don't know, I'll stop eating. I'm like, well, no, that's not going to help. And then you get the whole, well, I can't lose weight because I can't exercise. And you're just like, well, that's actually only 20%. Like, we need to also help. So it's a whole, I've written a book, and I plan on doing a little bit more stuff with that. So like, I want to take all of this knowledge that I've got and put it into the medical, that, yeah, in Canada, wait times are 12 to 14 months for joint replacement. And these people are sitting there.
Wow.
Nothing.
Well, you answered my last question, because my last question was going to be, where do you go from here? And you just laid it out beautifully. I want to tell you just a little, I've got a knee replacement support group, 2018. I would love for you to come into the group. Like I've got plans. I mean, I'm still maintaining my brick and mortar clinics, but I want to change kind of the way we deliver that care. And on the side, we're scaling a telehealth, service to reach those patients that you're talking about. We just spoke to a wonderful lady whose doctor said, I won't replace your joint unless you lose another 20 pounds. She said, I can't walk anymore. I can't exercise any more than I already am. My knee is killing me more than usual. One of our clinicians in the group came on, said, let's try some aquatic stuff. She said it's changed her world. She wanted to cancel her knee replacement because she was feeling so much better, and started changing diet and lifestyle and sleep and all the other stuff that contribute to real weight loss. And it's just, I mean, it's a miracle as far as she's concerned. And so we need to get those messages out to more of these clients. And so I'm a big advocate of patient-focused Facebook groups. But for other clinicians, other therapists who are watching this, listening to you, inspired by you, I've got a question that's going to put you on the spot. And I imagine you're going to say no because you're too busy with other stuff. But have you considered taking your experience, your knowledge, your information, and creating, a membership paid service for other clinicians who want to get to where you are?
I haven't, but the amount of emails I've been getting recently makes me sort of want to. I just don't feel like I'm there yet. I just don't have the time.
Yeah. And that's such a challenge, but I would say, there's plenty of clinical mentors, business mentors in the clinical world who are nowhere near as far ahead as you are, who are doing what we want you to do. So, I know that doesn't mean much, but at the minimum, I would say that you're ahead and an inspiration to so many other people. You've been there, you've got the information, and just like anything, I mean, I don't know how much you run. I'm not a runner by any means, but if I run 5 miles and I've got a client who wants to get to 1 mile, I can get them there. And so I think you can get so many people 10 steps ahead of where they are. So just something for you to consider, a little food for thought. Other than that, if anybody wants to get a hold of you or connect with you or just, touch base and build their community, their professional network, what's the best way for them to find you?
Well, I'm on Facebook. You can find me in Carey Adam. You'll probably post links.
I will. I'll post all the links.
Yeah, I'm always on Facebook. Email carey@runningmoms.com. Those are the two ways. Yeah, Facebook.
Awesome. And then what's the name of your blog? Because I didn't come across your blog.
It's runningmoms.com.
Oh, okay. Simple enough.
Yeah, it's a really simple website. I probably could use an overhaul, but it's doing the trick for now. But yeah, a lot of stuff in my brain.
Awesome. Well, I won't take up any more of your time. I'm going to wrap it up here. I don't think I have to do any editing, so I'll probably just cut off the ends and package this ready to go. Is there any other thing that you wanted to share? And it doesn't have to be because you've already shared so much, But any other message that you would have for anyone before I stop recording?
No, just that I really believe that this has such potential to impact healthcare of the real people on the ground, on all levels, in any space, like whatever your expertise is in it. And if we can get more people doing stuff like this, I think we can make a really big impact. And I think that physios completely have the potential to do this. I think we're really underusing our skills, working in some of the roles that we've been assigned to traditionally. So think outside the box and just learn, and look outside of the physio world to learn. Like I said, I've learned a ton in the holistic world because they're doing it right.
Yeah.
I think one of my skills is never look at people and be like, well, they can't do that. It's like, what are they doing? How can I do that and apply it to me and my passions? So.
Yes. All right. Thank you. Stay on here. I'm going to wrap it up and end the recording.